Welcome back to Tutorial Tidbits. I'm Elizabeth St. Hilaire, and this week I'm super excited to be collaborating with Jerry of the Netherlands on a project. We are both creating note cards this week, and we are using our gel plate, and our common shared items are going to be 3 colors, note cards as the project, and one of my stencils or masks from the Gustav Klimt collection from Joggles.com. So how cool is it that Jerry and I have been able to put together this video so that you can see what each of us is doing with the same supplies. So meet Jerry.
Hello, my name is Gerry van der Velde and I am super excited because today I'm joining Elizabeth to do a fun YouTube collaboration.
So if you've got a few minutes, let's go check it out. So this week I'm making cards with my gel plate and my golden fluid acrylics and my mirror Klimt mask from Joggles.com. So I'm using golden fluid acrylics, professional artist colors. I'm using a couple of different gel plate sizes. I'm using a 5x7, a 3x5, and an 8x10, just so that I can keep the colors on their own plate and not have to keep worrying about cleaning up in between. So I'm using, this is my own design of a Klimt collection mask, and it's called Mirror. The cool thing about using a large 9x12 mask on a small gel plate is that you can move it around in sections of itself and come up with a different print sort of every time you print it. So when I make cards, I like to do them in sections. So the oddball element that I'm going to be using in this video is string. So this is my oddball household element. I feel like there's a lot of things around your house or in your garage or that you can find at the Home Depot or an Ace Hardware. Like, you can find weird random things that work great on the gel plate and can become an art supply material without being an art supply material. So this is string. It's a plasticky kind of string. I don't know what its use is, but rather than being a stringy kind of string, it's a plasticky kind of string. I don't even know how to describe that, but anyway, that's that. So I've got the string, and I've got 5x7 blank cards that I got on Amazon. The links for all the supplies are going to be down below the video. And you're interested in all of my lists: watercolor, paper, stamp carving, shoes. We can't live without shoes. All of my lists, they're in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, so the first print I'm going to make is going to be with the gold, because you can't have Klimt without gold. So I'm going to put out the iridescent gold on the 5x7 gel plate. And I'm going to roll my brayer off onto a clean piece of paper off of the camera to make sure that I'm clean. And then I'm going to spread the gold out on the 5x7 plate. Now, I'm not going to print a whole section of anything or a whole, flood of anything. I'm going to be doing sections. So the first section I'm going to do is half of the gold, and I can line it up crease to end because it is 5 wide, and that is the size of my card blank. So I'm going to give myself a solid of gold, and then I'm going to grab the other solid of gold while it's still wet with a second card. So here I'm going to grab that other section of gold. Now, if you're very particular about keeping the insides of your cards clean, you can use a scrap sheet of paper to do your pressing and rubbing and keep your fingerprints out of the cards. I'm not super worried about that. I don't sell my cards. I send them to my friends and family. And so I feel like, my smears and splotches and fingerprints are fine. But if you are a neater kind of a person, then use a sheet of paper to keep your fingers from making a mess in your cards. Okay, so while we were blabbing, some of that gold dried, but it's still giving me kind of an interested, eviscerated effect. Okay, so a color that's hot right now in interior design is like a rust orange. So in order to mix that, I'm going to use the small gel plate And I'm going to use a little Pyro Orange along with a little Van Dyke Brown to dull down the orange and give myself this rusted orange. I'm going to use the same brayer that I used for the gold, but I'm going to roll it out off to the side to get the gold out of it. And I'm going to swirl and blend this sort of rusty orange color on the very small gel plate. And that is where I'm going to put my string down for a kind of cool swirly pattern. And then I'm going to come back with the gold section, and I'm just going to do sort of part of that. I'm not going to worry about lining it up perfectly. I'm actually going for half in the gold and half in the white. Now, with this, I don't try to line up perfectly. I'm sort of letting it happen organically. I don't know really what I'm going to get with this, and that's sort of the fun part. So now my string print has half overlapped my gold and has left me space down here for what I want to do with the mirror mask in a nice, rich, deep blue. So this could be a little more orange. The color that I was going for was a little more orange, but I still love it like this because it's a great contrast with the gold. And I don't even mind that little tidbit of whatever that is there. Serendipity. So here now I've got a ghost print of the string. And before I move any further, I'm going to put that on this first card that we did. Half into the gold and half into the white, or as close as I can get. So now I've got the ghost print. It's overlapping the gold and into the white. So the next step is to make this nice dark blue luxurious print with the mirror mask. Now this mask is part of an entire collection of Klimt inspired masks with Joggles.com. So if you love mirror, you would love to jump over to Joggles.com and check out their other masks in my Klimt collection. Here are some of the other designs. So I've got cubes, Gustav and Emily, leaves, mirror, nouveau, sensuous spirals, spiral repeat, tree of life, Vienna, and a rectangle motif. So there are quite the collection of the Gustav Klimt inspired masks and one stencil with Joggles.com. And today we're just using mirror. So now I'm going to put out a nice layer of a phthalo blue green shade onto the big gel plate. I'm going to sort of keep it down this end, and I'm going to brayer that out with my blue brayer. So I don't really have to clean my brayers this way so much as well. I have two brayers. I use one for the blue and one for the gold and the brown, and keeping the plates separate allows me not to have to clean up in between plates, which is super nice when you're making a bunch of cards at one time. So now I'm going to put the mirror mask into the phthalo blue on the big plate, and I'm going to grab a section of it down here in the white area of my card. Now I could do it this way so that the stencil goes horizontal, or I could do it this way so that the stencil goes vertical. So let's try vertical, and I'll grab it at the bottom of the plate right here. And I'll just rub it on the bottom half, but I won't worry if some of it actually transfers down further onto the card. So now I've got a little bit of mirror on there with the string print and the gold. And that's kind of a fun color combo. I think I wish I had a little bit more there. So I'm just going to grab it again in the other direction and see what happens. So that's a little bit more of what I was thinking. So as far as the ghost print one goes, this one we could grab a nice solid, or we could grab a ghost print. So let's lift up the mask and take this part of the card and see if we can grab the ghost print down at the bottom. So this will be a ghost print card. I've still got a little space there, and that could be actually kind of cool if I brought the rust back. So I'll bring the orange back in with the Van Dyke Brown. And I'll get my rust color back, and I'll just give myself a small band of that at the top, I think. So I'll just come right down here And just giving myself a small band of that color at the top sort of puts a cohesiveness in all of the sections of this card. So now, since that paint is wet, I'm going to grab another card and try putting that rust print on the top on the white. So there's really no rhyme or reason in how you have to layer these prints, but I like doing it in sections. So rather than printing an entire pattern over the whole front, it's a nice to break them up into sort of sections, and the sections can go in many different directions. So here, this one is on white. I can take the string off and grab the ghost print and sort of line that up in the next section. And then I've got the white print and the ghost print. Now I can come back to the gold and I can do a gold section at the bottom. And I have this nice gold section at the bottom, which my blue mirror would look beautiful over. So I'm going to grab some more of that phthalo blue-green shade and my blue brayer. Get a nice coat of that on the bottom half of my 8x10 gel plate. Bring in the mirror mask and lay it horizontally or vertically, depending on what you're interested in. And rather than lining it up complete with this, I think I'll shift it down a little bit and print that blue on top of the gold. So the idea is to do sections this way. Sections rather than full complete coverage, and get a little creative with your sections. Here we've done just horizontal sections. So this is really nice the way that looks over the gold and with the rust and the string print. Then we've got this one, and I think this one we can go across the whole bottom, leaving a little bit of white at the end. Let's see what that looks like. I love that. So now I've got my cool string print over the gold, and then also my mirror print from the mask. Okay, so back to the string. Oh, we got to get a little brown in there. So we're creating this really nice sort of rusty color, bringing the string into that little gel plate and sort of arranging it and then printing that on top of the gold. So let's fold this card, and I don't want to line it up perfectly, so I either want it to be just up here or over the middle. So let's just do it at the top edge. So just up here at the top edge. Oh, I love how that came out. Let's put it at the bottom of this one. In the ghost print. So sections, okay? So one more time, let's add the blue to it. So let's put the phthalo blue green shade onto the big plate. And remember that a large stencil or mask can print some interesting sections on smaller format like these 5x7 cards by just grabbing a small section. Actually, let's flip this because the bottom half of this is a little more detailed. And then we can grab small sections of the large mask, which is going to give us a different pattern on every card. So let's go with this on the very bottom section. So now I've got a nice sort of horizontal 1, 2, 3. And then if you didn't want it to be quite so sectioned, you could also run something in the middle or let the string sort of come over the middle. Got my ghost print, which I think should transfer into this gold pretty nicely there. Look at that. I love that. Now I'd also like to see a little bit of the blue kind of come up into here. So we could lift the mask and see if we can get a little bit of ghost print. And there I brought the blue. So now I've got the blue sort of up in there. So, you know, this is sort of just about experimenting and playing, but I wanted to introduce you to the idea of using a brayer for each color without having to clean the brayer, and a couple of different size gel plates so that you don't have to switch the paint color. And then you can go through and make a full pack of cards. These card blanks and envelopes are from Amazon, and they are really my favorite in terms of quality. And they're 5x7 cards. I think it's 40 of them. It doesn't say right there. Oh yes, I drew over it. A 40 pack of 5x7. So think about it. You're going to sit here and bang out with 3 different plates, 1 stencil, and some string, and 2 brayers. You can make 40 cards that'll last you. I don't know how frequently you write note cards, but they'll last me a long time. So it's well worth the effort and the setup. So happy Friday. And thanks, Jerry, for collaborating with me on this. And thank you for being here.